caffeine intake is actually something that I feel a lot of people don't use as a variable when kind of planning their programming and their training properly. And that caffeine is a very, very important variable when actually in your training, definitely, because caffeine, without a doubt, is a performance enhancer. One of the main things from caffeine, apart from increasing mental arousal and giving you kind of that almost buzzing feeling, one of the things caffeine does is actually give you a short-term boost in your blood pressure. So by doing so, the higher your blood pressure is, the lighter the weights you're going to feel. So especially on like squats and bench press, the higher you're able to get your blood pressure, the lighter the bar is going to feel. Obviously a reason why you see a lot of people who tend to lift extreme loads burst stuff like their nose or their eyes, things like that, and blood starts coming out because they burst blood vessels because their blood pressure is so high. And you should kind of think about caffeine as a variable in the sense that on lighter days, don't have your normal allowance of like 400 grams, 500 grams maybe cycle. So for example, what I like to do is on volume blocks, all I have simply is a Rockstar, which has 152 milligrams of caffeine in it. Okay, so I only have one of them, and I only have them on train days during volume blocks, so that I am then used to 150 grams. And then when I go to my intensity blocks on deadlift days and also my bench days, I then have 500 milligrams pre-workout of caffeine. So I'm having kind of about 2.5 more times than I normally would. Therefore, I'm going to get a huge benefit. But the problem is that if you're having 500 milligrams every volume block and all your days and even on off days, then for you to see an actual a benefit from taking caffeine on intensity days, you're going to have to go up to like 1,000. Which is just going to be a ridiculous amount of caffeine. But again, you don't want to overdo it. Quick story time. In case you do not know, at my last competition, I actually overdosed on caffeine slightly. Throughout the day, how much I actually had, I added it up. I actually had 2,000 milligrams of caffeine. So that's about 2 grams of caffeine throughout the day, and actually slightly overdosed and was legitimately high off of it, and was kind of puking up after and stuff like that as well. So again, you've got to be careful. You don't have too much and end up in a state like I did after my last competition. But yeah, definitely a variable, and kind of on days you don't need it, and on volume blocks don't have a lot. Go through the bare minimum so that when you come to your intensity days, you can bump it up and really get an added benefit. So on that note, I'm going to finish up my Rockstar, and then we're going to go and hit up some squats and some bench press. Fans making another guest appearance. It is another really nice day. To be honest, it doesn't even really feel like Scotland. Don't know if you can see, there you go, there's the sun. Freaking awesome. What weather we're having, it's brilliant. And could actually probably get used to training in these conditions. It's not bad. What's going on, guys? So hopefully the intro volume was a little bit lower. I have tried to fix this issue. I've had a few people say that the intro volume is massively high, and I've kind of noticed that myself. So hopefully it's been fixed. So if it has, then please just let me know if it's a lot better, because hopefully it's been fixed. But anyway, as always, not all reps and sets are shown, but this was day 3 of the 3rd week of this volume block. So this was Friday. And on Friday is right now is pause squats and also some close grip benching, and really thought everything went very well today. Actually, 5 sets of 3 with 195 kilos on pauses is technically speaking a PR, as I've never really done pause squats to any massive degree. I've never really spent a lot of time doing them. They've always just really been an assistance. And sometimes never even done them. And so yeah, this was actually a PR, and I thought that the bar was moving very well. Quite personally, I actually really enjoyed pause squats, and hopefully in the near future, I actually would like to get up to pausing £500 for reps and sets. That is kind of a miniature goal of mine. It is obviously a kind of second-hand goal in the sense that, realistically speaking, my kind of squat, bench press and deadlift, they're only my real goals to really improve them, and I've got secondary goals like hitting some big numbers on like a close grip bench press, overhead press, but pause squatting is definitely something I'd like to get up to like £500 for hitting sets and reps, but as a secondary goal, and would just come as a byproduct of my 1RM going up and working with the kind of same amount of percentages I normally would, and they would just end up lying with £500. But it is a short term goal, and it's always good to kind of set kind of goals that are variations of the lifts, because it makes things more interesting, because it gives you something to root for. So for example, having like goals to hit a new PR on front squats, on pause squats, on even pause deadlifts, on close grip benching, on 5 second holding the bar at the bottom of the bench press for 5 seconds. Just kind of big variations of the main lifts to allow yourself to PR in more ways than one, because at the end of the day, hitting PRs is always very motivating and very fun, but you can't always hit PRs on just the big lifts and just the competition style, but you can always hit PRs and variations, because you can always do a different type of variation. It's just a good way to kind of keep motivation high and keep arousal high in the gym. And then finished off with some seated overhead press. One thing I've actually found from doing these is you get a lot of stability built in your core and your upper back, and it really teaches you to keep everything nice and rigid, which will always have a great transfer over onto your squats and your deadlifts, and also your bench press, because there's a lot of stability included in the bench press. Right, so the highlight of the day today is posting my GBP, or my GBPF British form. So that's the check, and also the entry form sent away. So all pretty much real now, and now it's just time to get to work. Keep doing what I'm doing, and yeah, just really looking forward to proceeding forwards and eventually competing in the British.